Before the first bomb fell, before the first battle was fought, a different kind of war was already underway. This secret conflict wasn't waged with guns or tanks, but with numbers, codes, and massive humming machines hidden in dark rooms. During World War II, the most powerful weapons weren't planes or battleships. They were information and the technology built to control it. This is the story of how primitive computers and the art of cryptography quietly changed the world forever. Long before anyone dreamed of the internet, smartphones, or artificial intelligence, a silent war was shaping the future of humanity. It was fought far from the front lines, behind locked doors, in dimly lit rooms filled with tangled cables, spinning drums, and blinking lights. No soldiers charged forward, no bombs exploded. Instead, brilliant men and women battled time itself, using logic, mathematics, and machines that would give birth to our digital age. From the very beginning of the conflict, one truth became crystal clear. Information was power. A single intercepted message could reveal an enemy's plans, expose a hidden fleet, or save thousands of lives. Military communication had to be fast, accurate, and above all, secure. Every nation in the war raced to develop encryption systems capable of hiding their intentions from prying eyes. Messages sent by radio were transformed into complex jumbles of symbols, utterly meaningless to anyone without the correct key. The battlefield was no longer just land, sea, and air. It now included the invisible realm of data. Nazi Germany placed enormous faith in its cryptographic technology, especially in a machine called Enigma. To the casual observer, Enigma looked like a clunky typewriter, but inside, it housed an extraordinarily complex system of rotating wheels that changed the encryption with every single keystroke. Each message could be encoded in billions upon billions of possible combinations. German commanders were convinced their communications were completely unbreakable. They were wrong, but their overconfidence came dangerously close to winning them the war. The Allies quickly understood that defeating the enemy would require more than just brute force. They needed to break the codes. Secret intelligence centers were established, staffed with the brightest minds they could find: mathematicians, linguists, engineers, and eccentric problem solvers recruited from universities and quiet research institutions. Their task was monumental: intercept enemy transmissions and decode them before the information became useless. Time was everything. A message decoded too late was as worthless as no message at all. At first, the process was painfully slow. Analysts would search for patterns by hand, testing endless combinations, running on little more than intuition, experience, and sheer exhaustion. But as the war intensified, the volume of intercepted messages exploded. Human minds alone could no longer keep up with the deluge of data. This immense pressure gave birth to a revolutionary idea. What if they could build machines that could accelerate and eventually surpass human calculation? The first primitive computers were not designed for convenience or comfort. They were forged in the fires of necessity, built for one purpose: survival. These early electronic brains filled entire rooms. They consumed staggering amounts of electricity, generated intense heat, and required constant, delicate maintenance. Yet, they performed calculations at speeds that were unimaginable just a few years prior. Machines like Colossus, developed in Britain specifically to help break high-level German codes, marked a profound turning point in history. For the first time, electronic devices were being used to process information, to think, in a way, faster than any human ever could. The war had forced the birth of machine-assisted intelligence. This wasn't just about winning battles. It was the dawn of a new era. Across the Atlantic, the United States eagerly embraced this technological revolution. American scientists and engineers began developing their own electronic computing machines, driven by the urgent need to calculate artillery trajectories, analyze complex logistics, and support their own intelligence operations. One of the most famous of these was ENIAC, the Electronic Numerical Integrator and Computer. ENIAC was a true monster sprawling machine built with thousands of vacuum tubes, occupying a massive room. It couldn't store programs like modern computers. It had to be physically rewired for each new task. but it could perform complex calculations in seconds that would have taken a team of mathematicians days to complete. It was a beast of wires and switches, but it was also a stunning glimpse into the future. At the same time, American cryptography evolved rapidly. The U.S. military developed increasingly sophisticated encryption systems to protect its own communications, but one of the most ingenious solutions came not from a machine, but from people. The famous code talkers, primarily from the Navajo Nation, transmitted critical messages using their native languages. These languages were so complex and so unknown to enemy cryptographers that the messages were virtually impossible to decode. It was fast, secure, and a beautiful example of human culture becoming a perfect, unbreakable code. As cryptography grew more complex, computers grew more powerful, and as computers improved, cryptography advanced even further. This feedback loop created a whirlwind of innovation. What might have taken decades of development in peacetime was accomplished in just a few short, desperate years. The war acted as a powerful accelerator, pushing human ingenuity to its absolute limits. The impact of this secret war of codes and computers was immense. Breaking the Enigma code, for example, is credited with shortening the war by as much as 2 years and saving countless lives. The intelligence gathered from decrypted messages allowed the Allies to anticipate U-boat attacks in the Atlantic, gain critical advantages in North Africa, and prepare for the DID landings in Normandy. The future of the world was literally being rewritten, one decoded message at a time. When the war finally ended, the world was forever changed, in ways most people couldn't even see. The soldiers came home, the factories retooled for peace, but the machines stayed. The knowledge gained in those secret rooms couldn't be unlearned. The pioneers of computing, people like Alan Turing, Grace Hopper, and John von Neumann, had opened a door that could never be closed. Their work laid the direct foundation for everything we take for granted today. The smartphone in your pocket, the GPS that guides you, the vast network of the internet, all of it traces its lineage back to those noisy, room-sized machines built to win a war. The silent conflict of World War II wasn't just a battle for freedom. It was the crucible in which our modern digital world was born. It proves that sometimes the most powerful revolutions don't begin with a bang, but with the quiet, relentless hum of a machine thinking. Thanks for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more hidden histories that shaped our world. See you next time.